Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before we begin this lesson, we want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ahasham,
Bahashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Bahasham,
Bahashem,
Rachakwadash.
Rachakadash.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching. Shalom. So today's video is going to be entitled "The Truth is Going Out Worldwide." All right, because the truth is going out. All right, the truth is springing forth as the scriptures have said would happen. Okay, you can read the history of the scriptures. For the most of the time in history, we knew who we were. We had our own nation, and then there came a time of darkness where the Lord took that knowledge from us. All right, because of our sins. All right, we worshipped other idols, and the Lord put us in slavery to these different nations. You know, he would raise up prophets, and then we would get back in order, but then we would fall again and again and again. And eventually the Lord said, this time I'm going to take my name from you, man. I'm going to take away your, everything. We didn't have any knowledge of our heritage, since the time, you could go back to the time of slavery and all the way many, many hundreds of years after that. All right. It was only till Abba Bivens came on the scene when, that was the first prophet that the Lord raised up, preaching the 100% truth again. Okay, and we're going to start off in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, and go into, how this happened. Of course, Yahweh controls all things, but he used these different nations to basically keep this truth a secret from us. All right, so we're going to start here in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, and verse 1.
We in Psalms 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a taunt.
Right there, so verse 1, like the brother was going into, it says, keep not thou silence. Because the book of Ecclesiastes goes into how there's a time to speak and there's a time to be silent. All right, and this is the time we're living in now, where it's time for the Lord to speak. And how does the Lord speak? It's through his prophets. All right, and I'm gonna grab a quick precept to that in Hebrews chapter 1. This is Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 1. Power, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. All right, so you see there, the Lord speaks through the mouth of his prophets. And, the reason the prophet right here, the writer Asaph, he's asking the Lord to speak through the mouth of his prophets is because of these different nations, man, and what they're doing. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and go into that. So I'll let the brother continue in verse 2. Baba Kushah.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Done. So right there, all right, a tumult is talking about an uproar, all right, a murmuring. Okay, so these different nations, they hate the Lord. They hate us, the Israelites. Who are the Israelites? You so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. All right, we're the sons of God, or the sons of power, I'd rather say. And these other nations hate our people, and they hate Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. All right, so they have this conspiracy against us. Okay, go ahead and read verse 3 again, Baba Kusha.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right, and who are the hidden ones? is us so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. And why are we hidden? Because there's been a veil put over the whole earth. And I'm gonna get a precept to that in Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7. It reads, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. You see, in that veil, that covering is who are the Israelites, man? Who are the Israelites, and what is the truth of what the Bible is talking about? Because you had all type of Christian pastors, so-called Christian pastors, coming out talking about the Bible, reading the Bible, right? But they have a bald head, clean shaved face, weigh 500 pounds, talking about how to get rich. That was the gospel of this world, man. Okay, but that's not the truth of the scriptures. You see? Because there was a veil over it, man. And that's when Abba Bivens came on the scene. That's when the Lord lifted off that veil. All right? So we'll go ahead and continue then from verse 4.
Khan. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Khan. So they wanted to cut off Israel from being a nation, and that's what they've done, man. Our people are basically scattered worldwide. Most of them are calling on sweet baby Jesus and all these different, you know what I'm saying? They calling on everything except for Yahweh Bashim Shai. And notice how it says that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. You see? So they cut off that remembrance of our people, right? Because ultimately, the majority of people in this world did not know who we were, all right? Of course, the highest level of government powers, like these international bankers and, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and, high people in high places, they have these archaeological records. They have our records. They have their records. They know that King David subdued the heathen nation. They know that there was a time when we were forced to be reckoned with. Okay, and that basically, we are a powerful and understanding and wise people. Okay, and basically, their goal was to get off. All right, but yeah, continue with that.
Yeah, and then going into that fifth verse, it says, for they have consulted to gather, well, together, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee.
Gone. Yeah, they've consulted together with one consent. The word consent is consent is going into they're all breathing with one spirit, with one mind. Okay, let's all get together and fulfill this plan. And then the brother Ratazawan, if you could bring out the word confederate, and we can go into that.
Let me okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get the first one. So we have Etymon online. Oh shoot. Yeah, basically we got the etymology for that. Go into the origin and history of confederacy. Well, Salakia, let me go ahead. I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna go into the word that we just seen. All right, Confederate. In the 1500s, to unite in league or alliance from late Latin. Ooh, yeah, I don't know if I could pronounce that, but that's principle of confederate. Dang, yeah, basically unite by a league or to come together with together, and then yeah, that's what that means. I'm gonna go ahead and get that in the blue letter.
Mumbo jumbo in there, but we grab the meat, spit out the bones. But basically, like the brother said, it's going into how they're all in league together, right? Basically, they're all in league, and it just means like an alliance, a pledge, an agreement, okay? Because these nations know it's us against them. they're all together against us, and we're by ourselves. And Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, of course. So we're not really by ourselves. It's us against all these other nations. All right. And we're going to get a precept in the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20, real quick. This goes really hard on, what these nations are thinking, because these other nations, they know that we're the superior people. They know that we are the chosen seed line of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. And there's something that they have to do in order to keep us in that low state. And that's what we're going to go into real quick. This is Judith. We're going to go into chapter 5 and verse 20. It says, "Now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people," right? So you got a heathen speaking to their governor about us. All right. So it says, if there be any error again in this people, meaning if we're sinning and worshiping other gods and doing wickedness, and they sinned against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. So the only time these heathen nations ever defeated us in war is when we were going off and sinning against Yahweh Ba'ashim Al Shai, worshiping idols, passing our children under the fire to Moloch and all these different idols and Baal and so on and so forth. Okay, but check this out, verse 21. "But if there be no iniquity in their nation," meaning we're righteous, we're doing what we're supposed to, "let my Lord now pass by." That means, hey, just keep walking. "Lest their Lord defend them and their power before them, and we become a reproach before all the world." Meaning, hey, if they're worshiping their power correctly, they're doing what they're supposed to, we better keep walking, because if not, the Lord's going to fight for them, and we're going to become an embarrassment to the whole world, man. And that happened many, many times throughout history. And that's why the nations knew not to fuck with us when we were worshiping our power, keeping the law, statutes, commandments. All right, so that's part of that great elite, that alliance, to keep our people in a stupid state, to keep our people from knowing the 100% truth, because that's the first step in coming back to the Lord, is actually knowing who we are. We didn't even know who we are. We didn't know the names. We didn't know what we were supposed to do. You still got Christian pastors saying, oh, the law is done away with. You can eat pork. All right, you're only supposed to have one woman. The Sabbath day is on Sunday. Worship white men with long hair. Celebrate these holidays. Oh, the holidays, Easter and Christmas, is about Jesus. It's about Jesus. No, it's not. It's not about Yahweh Shai, man. That's his true name. You see, these are the crazy things that have us in a retarded state. That's why we're a laughing stock. We're the ass end of every joke, man. I had an Edomite at work try to come up and make me laugh, man. It wasn't funny. He showed me two different YouTube shorts, one making fun of the Southern Kingdom and one making fun of the Northern Kingdom. Going into the different jokes. Oh, a little baby talking about how he wants to eat fried chicken and steal. I'm like, that's not funny. And then he shows me one with the Smurfs in a headdress like a Native American, talking about I'm from the shit tribe, shit something, making fun of our people, man. I'm like, that's spiritual, because we are the ass end of every joke, man. These nations don't fear us, Imagine if we were in our power and they made that joke, hey, they wouldn't be making them jokes if we were in power.
Kind of like it says, we're going to be a byword unto all the nations, So like, they call us Negroes, they call us,
Yeah.
they call us black, which, that's not going into black. That means evil, wicked,
Right.
darkened, it's just like nothing positive to that. But, they call themselves white, but they be the most wicked, they be the most wicked people on the earth. It's like, how does it even make any sense? And that's really just a Western term for real, So yeah, that comes with them bywords. That's why they're able to make fun of us. But in reality, our people at the end of the day are we just gonna come back to our power and we're gonna be over them,
Exactly. and we're gonna fuck them up, man. When the Lord Yahweh Shai
Come,
is gonna rise to the parade first, and then give us some spiritual powers. All right, and ultimately, like the brother said, we're gonna be over them, man. It's not gonna be any more jokes about our people. It's not gonna be any more wickedness on the earth, really, because we're gonna be
come.
we're
Because at the end of the day, it's not even funny. Like them jokes are not funny. Like that's not funny.
ain't
Because Esau, so like, go ahead.
no. I was just agreeing with you. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, they make jokes like that to just show Jake, like, this is what you need to be. It's really programming at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, hey, they'll tell you what you want. They'll tell you what they want you to be before you actually know what you want to be.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Con.
Get them young. They got all.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's a great point you bring out, Ak. That's part of that big pledge and allegiance they have. That's why they got our people listening to rap music. You got people like Little Baby being the face of music today, man. Even back in the day, these rappers were kind of mo on the down low, but now they're coming out full force, super mo's, man, flaming mo's, man. And you got our
Goody.
into that because Esau's getting them young. All right, all the different foods, chemicals, we could go on and on.
Con.
Yep. Oh, those different so-called Arabs, so-called Chinese, they come to the hood and they set up these little stores. All right, who do you think gives them that ability? It's Esau, man. How come there's not a black-owned corner store? You see?
Con, bro.
Yeah.
Ishmael like to poison Jake for real, you know, because they already know like we're going through all this stuff and they getting it so well. Like, they come to America full on, oh, you want a business? All right, let's go ahead, let's build you a business. Oh,
Yep.
you got no experience in it? Nah, that's okay. We'll show you how to do
Yeah. Just remember
it.
the fucking seed oils and the fucking Doritos and cheap liquor.
Con, bro. Man, you'll see in like these in these shops, bro. They got everything Jake would want: shoes, clothes, pop, snacks, like you just said, and they'll put little baby on the front of the package, and niggas will buy that stuff up, bro.
You see? Fucking up a whole generation of people, and then they turn around and say that we're the face of crime. It's like that's what you want. You want us to be the
Con,
face, because if we weren't, we would be over you. You see, that's how you keep us, keep yourselves in power. The weaker people, hey, the scripture says one people will be stronger than the other. So how do you keep a strong man from taking power over you? Is you gotta tie him up, and that's how he's
con,
all tied up, man. You know. But yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and so this passage, and we could keep going on and on, but we're just gonna read verse 6 real quick, and then we'll go from there because this league, this covenant is gonna go into the different nations that are doing it. Okay, and long story short, it's all nations that are not Israelites. They're against us. Okay, but notice in verse 6 who's at the top of the list.
con. Yeah, so we got back in 25, well, not 25, in Psalms 85 and 6.
Oh, Salakia, brother. Psalms 83.
Oh, 83 and 6, Salakia. Yeah, it names off all these other tribes, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, in the Hagarians, Gebal, and Ammon, yeah, Ammon,
Mm-hmm.
Salakia, and Amalek, and the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Kind of, yeah, that's that's
Yeah,
good.
John, yeah, it's just going into all the nations. But long story short, Esau, Edom is at the top of the list, followed by the so-called Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese, going on and on and on. The so-called Africans, over there, the native Africa, because you do have our people that are in Africa, okay? But remember, during the time of slavery, they worked together with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and they worked together with the Arabs. The Arabs built the ships. Esau was the one running the whole thing. Who funded it? These Amalekites, this fake Jews over there, and then of course the so-called Africans tied our people up and sold them to the white man, the so-called white man. So see, it's all together, man, and it's a very intense plot. And that's why people of us, they think we're crazy, but it's like, think about the hatred. Why do they hate us so much? They got us in hoods. We built up their country. They stole everything from us, and they still have a problem with us. So it goes further than skin color, man. It goes further than, oh, you guys speak Spanish. You know, it's crazy. But right now, the Lord is bringing out this truth. So that veil, like we said, has been lifted. And we're going to get a precept to that. That's Psalms 85 and verse 11.
Back in Psalms 85, verse 11. Truth shall spring out the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven.
Yeah, the truth shall spring forth. All right, that's when Abba Bivens came on the scene. All right, because for the longest time, you know, after, the Apostle Paul, Apostle John, after they had died, for the longest time after that, our people didn't have prophets speaking, the Lord speaking through the mouth of his prophets. There was a quiet period, which, Second Ezra chapter 7 and verse 30 goes into how the world shall be turned into the old silence, and that's when we were in a state of confusion, man, a state of darkness until about the 1970s, I believe. That's when Abba Bivens came on the scene. And then you had Abba Bivens preaching on the streets. You had these different, the different elders and apostles on down. Now we got the Apostle Tahar, the Apostle Gabar, Apostle Raha, Apostle Ariamlab, okay? And the men on down, a Great Millstone, the affiliates such as myself. We making videos that's going throughout the four corners of the earth. We standing in the highways and byways. Like the scriptures say, wisdom crieth out in the street, roughly paraphrasing. Yeah, man, that's what's happening right now. So the Lord is bringing out the truth. And, it's not just in the highways and byways. We also got the internet, which the Apostle Tahar says does the heavy lifting. And we're going to get a precept to that. And actually, we'll get a precept to that. We're going to go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. Bear with me 1 second. Yep. Ezra 6. And we're going to go to verse 20.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then I will slew these tokens, and the book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together.
Right. So when the world that shall begin to vanish away is talking about Esau's kingdom. When this thing is finished and the Lord is getting ready to bring this place to a close, he's going to show the tokens of what? The books being open in the firmament. So does that mean that people are going to get a ladder and climb all the way up to the sky and start preaching the Bible up there? No, it's talking about the internet, all right? Because you got these different satellites up there in the firmament, in the ozone, all right, that help the internet work. And that's how this word has gone out worldwide throughout the four corners of the earth. Think about those different people that are living in the wilderness, these tribes out there, okay? Some of them could be our people, and so they're getting the internet through satellite, all right? And all the other people in the world use this internet, man. I learned the truth through the internet, The brother Ratazawan may or may not have learned it through, I believe you saw it in person, right? Or a mixture of both.
So I was introduced to it through the internet when I was way younger. My dad was playing videos and stuff, but it wasn't the correct doctrine, which I knew better by the Spirit. It was irritating. I hated I hated all the yelling. I was like, yeah, stop. I said, I hate this stuff. But when I came across this truth, something just felt right about it. And, you know, I left off with the names, eventually running into the brothers in Kansas City. So, hey, call
Hey,
all y'all about Shema Shai for that.
it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And notice, yeah, the brother's referring to the camp IUIC, man, which, you know, they're kind of very flashy and they yell and they wear purple. You know, their garments look like they cost more than my car, but they're not preaching the truth, man. They're not bringing out the 100%. You know, they'll bring out some things that's correct, you know, which I could give credit for that. You know, I learned through them that I was an Israelite, but, you know, that's as far as it goes. They don't tell you the names. You know, they don't go into the more deep topics and stuff that, you know, is against Esau's society, right? They tell you can only have one woman, you know, and that's wickedness. That's a lie. The scripture says don't add and take away. All right. But yeah, man, yeah. So with that, yeah, like the brother said here, yeah, when Esau's kingdom is going to be finished, all right, yeah, the truth is going to be preached on the internet. That's what's going on right now. And we'll go ahead and get a precept to that in Matthew 24, verse 14.
Going into Matthew 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for the witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come.
That's right. Yeah, this gospel of the kingdom, right? The word gospel goes into good news. The good news is that us Israelites are a holy people unto Yahweh Bashim Shai, and Yahweh Shai came for us, all right, to save us from this flesh, to save us from this captivity, and ultimately to save us from our enemies. Pursuant of Luke chapter 1, 70 on down, it talks about our enemies, man, which we just read about in Psalms 83, the people that are all together against us. All right, and as we read in Judith, when we come back to our power, we're unstoppable. And that's what Yahweh Shai is going to do. But we're going to come back to our power under Yahweh Bashim Shai through this truth. All right, so this is the third temple being built. Okay, this is the third temple is spiritual. All right, and we're at that time. We're at the end. Because as you can see, worldwide, everybody is starting to talk about the Israelites. You know, you got this right here on the back of my Bible. It's called iconoclasm, and hopefully y'all can see that. So you've got the pictures in different caves over there in Russia and even in Greece of the ancient Israelites during the time of the Roman Empire. Okay, and as you can see, they are all so-called black men. And here you got depictions of Yahweh Shai being crucified, a so-called black man. You see, showing you who is the real Israelites. All right, this is called iconoclasm. And that has been going out throughout the whole world, man, because of the Israelites, man. We were bringing that out. And of course, these, you know, you remember Putin was bringing that out, talking about how they're going to worship black Jesus over there.
And going into that word iconoclasm, it says the action of attacking or assertively rejecting your cherished beliefs and institutions or established values and practices, or the rejection of destruction of religious. This is the one I wanted. The rejection or destruction of religious images as heretical, the doctrine of iconoclast. So yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's why they got that white JC, which is, you know, going back to Jesus Christos, you know. You go farther than that, but you get the point.
Yep, going all the way back to Serapis and all that, all them idols, man. But yeah, this truth is going out worldwide through the elders and apostles, the men on down of GMS, the affiliates on the highways, and the internet. You got iconoclasm. We got another example too. I'm gonna bring that up. Okay, so this is an MMA fighter. His name is Ernesto McRae, and it says he gives praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. So I'm gonna just let it play. We'll go from there. Salakia, is it showing on your side? It's not showing, is it?
It just says click to exit full screen. I think you just need to
They trip.
exit full.
Yeah.
Con, there we go. There we go.
All right, let me just at least widescreen it. I'm gonna start it over. Hey, you see that right there, man? And me and the brother Ratazawan, we were joking about it earlier. I was saying like I thought he was gonna start doing a video lesson right there, because that's how we
Con,
start video.
that sound like, yeah, like you said, that sound like GMS.
Yeah, because that's the 100% truth, man. So it's going out, man. MMA is mainstream. You can see that on TV. You don't even need internet. You can see that on TV. An old person with a box TV could see that and say, "Oh, he said Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai." Huh. And type that up, and then they're gonna see all the videos of the Israelites. Next thing you know, they could come to the camp. So yeah, it's going out worldwide, man. The Lord is showing them tokens, man. Not only through the internet, hell, on the TV. It's mainstream. You know, that's a beautiful thing, man. So that means we're at the end. We are
Con,
literally Esau's kingdom is going down, and I don't even need to prove that. Y'all can see the economy, the people. People killing their babies, crying too loud. This economy is going down. They're getting ready to mandate the MOTB, right? You have
I'm talking about that one girl that killed her baby because she ain't know what to do with the crying baby.
yeah, it's crazy, and it's not rare. It's commonplace. I see headlines like that all the time.
Con, so like you.
And like the elder Ride was going into in the camp earlier, you got Trump doing the big beautiful bill, the what do they call that? The Genius Act, with these crypto coins. What are they? Uh, was it U.S. dollar coin or something along those lines? So they making that a part, and then also Trump signed some type of a deal or did some type of endorsement with Crypto.com, right? Showing you the movement from physical paper fiat over to digital. You see, and once enough people jump on a bandwagon, all right, they already have the MOTB computer chip. They already have Neuralink. They already have all that stuff. So it's just a matter of making an announcement, and next thing you know, Yahweh Shai is going to be right here, man, taking vengeance on these devils, on these different heathens, man. So what ought we to do, man? We seek the Lord 10 times more. You see? And the brother Ratazawan was talking to me about that earlier. If you want to bring that out, brother.
Con, yeah. So going into that, really, once you find those names, you're really expected. Like, if the spirit resonates in you, you're really expected to seek the Lord 10 times more.
Yeah.
Because, kind
And
of, I should
brother.
bring out that scripture.
It's going to be
Con,
Baruch chapter 4, 28.
Baruch chapter 4.
Uh, yeah, I could read it for you, brother.
Con, that'd be great.
This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 28. And it reads, "For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more."
Con, so that's strictly for Israel. Honestly, at the end of the day, we lost a name, and like you said, it came back through Abba Bivens,
Mm-hmm.
eventually going on to the apostles currently, and we've been spreading that even more. So it's getting out there. Like there's no reason why so many people can't get into the name,
Yeah.
eventually run into this. But like
Yeah.
I said, many are called, but few are chosen.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, seek the Lord 10 times more when you find it, because when you do, you don't know what's going to come later. But hopefully we are a part of that elect, and everything just pays off. So,
Yeah.
man,
That's how it is, man. Because, hey, we went through that time period. That should scare us and be like, damn, we got to do better, man. Fear the Lord.
Khan,
All right. So, yeah, with that, we pray that lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. We want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahasham,
Bahashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Bahasham,
Bahashem,
Hakwadash.
Bahakadash.
Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us His truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa. Abad babal. Shalom.
Shalom.